Hello in between the lanes. Hope you're doing good. Just got to get the chat. The live chat, live stream, whatever we're calling it, live comments up. I can see some on there, but not all of them. So just got to make sure it's working, operational, and then we can obviously get going here. Happy live stream Monday. Yeah, well, I got the comments up if you couldn't tell, but happy live stream Monday. Yep. It's a weekly tradition now. Happy to have it as a weekly tradition. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. I hope you're doing well. How are you doing? But yeah, Martinsville this past weekend. Suzuka and F1. Had a solar eclipse today. That was kind of cool. I was in like the middle of it near Dallas, so got dark there for a few minutes. It was really freaky. Not like end of the world freaky, but if it was like 300 years ago and I had no idea what was going on, I'd probably think it was the end of the world freaky. But it's 2024. We got a lot of technology. We knew this was coming. So it was still a little bit freaky, but, not end of the world freaky. Anyways, just thought I would bring that up. I'm sure some of you saw the video I posted, 1:45 p.m., and it was dark. But hello to Craig. Hope you're doing well. David, hope you're doing well. But yeah, I guess let's just get into it. So Martinsville this past weekend, Xfinity race as always, had some great actions, had some good racing in the Xfinity side and then the Cup side. They got to do something at this point. They got to do something, seriously. It's been worse. They have improved it a little bit. I will give them that, but I'm tired of getting these little tiny improvements when let's just try to swing for the fences here, okay? Everyone is saying put more power in the car. Why are they not putting more power in the car? And ultimately, we get this. Was it the worst Martinsville race ever? No, it was not. But compared to the normal Martinsville standard, it was not great. We got some comments rolling in, so I'm going to read those. Andy, how are you? Hope you're doing well. How are you getting on with the SVG video clips? That's a great question. I've got all the recommendations written down for my 4,000 subscriber special. I just need to work on this laptop before I actually get into doing it because this laptop is old. So I got to figure that out so I can have the actual highlights showing and then have my actual face reacting to it at the same time. Because if I just show me reacting and you can't see what's going on, then, it's pointless. And if you just see the highlights, then, you don't see me reacting and it's pointless. So I want to show you both. But if I do it on this laptop, it will take way too long. So I'm waiting a little bit to get that laptop situation figured out. But yeah. But as for SVG clips, I'll have more this week of actual live stuff because this week is my home race. It's Texas Motor Speedway. It's less than 30 minutes away from me, so I will be at the races this weekend. No major announcement. I mean, it's a big announcement. I'm going to a race, but, it's not like a make my own video. I'll re-announce it in the post or whatever. But, yeah, so I'll go on Friday night, watch SVG qualify, watch them race on Saturday, and then obviously all the other stuff, trucks Friday night, Cup on Sunday. So Texas, looking forward to it. Almirola win number 206 for Gibbs Xfinity team. I did not know that was win number 206 for their Xfinity team. I knew that they had over 200 in Cup because Christopher Bell got that at Martinsville in 2020. But, I mean, they win Xfinity a lot. They've won a lot of championships. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. They've had their Cup guys in those cars who have won a lot of races. And, they've had their own young talent win a bunch of races. Christopher Bell. Ty Gibbs, obviously, again. I mean, you've seen a lot of wins, but 206, that's a lot. So, hello, Stefan. Hope you're doing good. Sorry, whichever way is the right way. That is the one I meant to say first. Cup race was boring. I don't know how many times I went to the hot dog stand. I won't eat hot dogs for a while, says Craig. My first question is the hot dog actually good? You hear so much about the Martinsville hot dog. I'm pretty simple with hot dogs. I just like the hot dog itself. You know, hot dog in a bun. I'm not a big ketchup or mustard fan, and I know that they put a lot more than just that on the Martinsville hot dog. I think they put some chili or something on there, some relish, something like that. So my question is the Martinsville hot dog actually that good with everything on it? If I went to Martinsville, I would get it as is because I want to try it, but I'm pretty simple with hot dogs. So I'm just curious how much is on the hot dog and is it still good with everything else on it? So, but as for the cup race itself, yeah, Martinsville used to be one of my favorite dates of the year. I know everyone loves Bristol, and Bristol is the favorite for a lot. And I still love Bristol, but I always looked forward to Martinsville just because maybe it's because I'm a Jeff Gordon fan, and Jeff Gordon just did really good there. But there was always something happening, you know, whether it was conflict, someone getting moved out of the way, just everything happened. 2012 when Boyer got knocked into Gordon and Johnson. Let me think. 2014, Jeff Gordon chasing down Dale Jr. Gordon should have won, but, you know, it's whatever. 2015, Gordon's last win, Kenseth Logano. 2016, did anything happen in the 2016 race? Technically, that was Gordon's last race in 2016. But then we go to 2017, the Elliott Hamlin thing. 2018, Logano Truex. 2019, Logano Hamlin. 2020, we had Harvick getting eliminated. 2021, we had the Hamlin Bowman thing. So almost every single year, you could name something significant happening at Martinsville. The past 3 years, we have the Hail Melon. If it wasn't for the Hail Melon, I don't know anything significant that we could name at Martinsville. Last year, Blaney won, but he didn't even have to win to make it to the championship race. Like, I can't even remember what happened in the spring race. Honestly, I'm struggling to remember who won the spring race. Larson. Okay, good job, brain. And today, or yesterday, the only thing significant was if you were a Hendrick Motorsports fan or someone who worked at Hendrick because it was a 1-2-3 on their big 40th anniversary celebration. If it wasn't for that, nothing really happened. So, yeah, the racing has been a struggle at short tracks, especially Martinsville in this new car, which sucks. Go Hendrick Motorsports, says Steven. Or Stefan, still trying to figure that out. Say you love the videos? Well, thank you. I'm glad you love the videos. I try to get them out as much as I can. I'm glad you appreciate them. I appreciate you for watching them. Appreciate you for being here at the live stream. So, yeah, means a lot. Thank you for the nice words. Paint scheme says in between the lanes. Oh, my goodness. Holy crap. Do I even have to say it? The 24 this weekend was beautiful. The Ruby Red and the Exalted Flames, that should be the primary for the rest of the season. Get rid of that ugly baby puke green Raptor car. Throw it in the garbage. Discard it. Do what you got to do. Nuke it. Send it to the sun. And make that Exalta Ruby car the primary scheme. Even the Exalta White scheme, it's still good. It's Exalta. You know, they rarely miss on a paint scheme. I have such a distaste for the Raptor paint scheme because it takes away from Exalta. And this week's beauty that was the Ruby 24. Oh, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. Larson's car looked cool with the red. That was unique. Bowman's with the red was weird because it's usually purple, but it still was pretty. And then the 9 was kind of like Bowman's where it's usually the white and green, but it looks prettier as red because that white and green just doesn't really clash together, the universe. But outside of Hendrick, what other paint schemes were good? I like Blaney's advanced auto parts. It's simple. It's good. He's been running it a while, but it's still a good paint scheme. Trying to think of some others from this weekend. Was it the Snow? I was going to say the 6, but I think he was in the Build Submarines car. The Lucas Oil was back for Kyle Busch. That's always that's a good-looking paint scheme. It was his first win with RCR, obviously. Then, let's think here. I mean, that's it off the top of my head. Everything else, there were a lot of just normal paint schemes. You know, the 99 in the Freeway Insurance car. You know, the 71 in his normal paint scheme. Truex was in his normal Bass Pro paint scheme. Bubba was in his normal McDonald's scheme. I'm still disappointed they haven't brought the 2022 one back. But yeah, that's it for paint schemes. Hendrick Motorsports, 29 wins at Martin. That is crazy. 29 wins at Martinsville over 40 years. And that is through numerous drivers. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Byron, Larson, Bowman, Elliott, Jeff Bodine, Dale Jr., I'm sure Terry Labonte won there when he was at Hendrick. So, I mean, it's a lot of drivers to win at Martinsville in just a 40-year history and so many wins. And, you know, that track has been, obviously, on-track success has been insane, you know, with all the wins and whatnot. But, you know, there's also always that cloud for Hendrick just because of what happened with the plane crash and whatnot on the way to Martinsville, where Rick Hendrick, his son, brother or uncle, and then a lot of other Hendrick Motorsports higher-ups, employees were on a plane. They crashed, so there's always that cloud there. But ultimately, they just are really good at Martinsville as well. So a mix of emotions for Rick Hendrick, I'm sure, himself, the organization as a whole too. But yeah, obviously they have a ton of success at Martinsville. 29 wins over 40 years is just... it's a little bit away, but it's almost, if you round enough, it's almost one win a year, which is pretty crazy. So, oh no! Steven says, I hate Texas Motor Speedway. Look, I understand Texas has not provided the greatest racing since 2017 when they reconfigured it. Texas is my home track. I refuse to constantly hate it. The racing has been rough since 2017, I'll give you that. But before that, it was one of the best mile-and-a-half tracks at its old configuration once the track got a bit worn out. Like 2014 through 2016 was great racing at the end of its paved lifespan. But I will admit 2017 through now has been rough. But I will say last fall's race was not that bad by New Texas standards. It was one of the better races for New Texas standards. The more that track wears out, the more they get that PJ1 worn out and don't reapply it, the track's racing has actually gotten a little bit better. Turns 1 and 2 are tough because of how unique it is, how flat it is, and you know, you can really mess up a lot. But the more that track ages, the more optimistic I get that the racing can be better. I don't think it'll ever get to a Charlotte, Vegas, Kansas level in terms of the mile-and-a-half with the next gen. I don't think it'll ever put on a top 5 race of the year, but I do think it will be better as time goes on. We'll get some more good races versus bad or average meh kind of races. So I think the more the track ages, it has gotten better. I still don't like the reconfiguration. I still just think they should go back to Old Texas, raise the banking back up in 1 and 2, make it a little bit more narrow like it was, and then we will have great racing there yet again. In Between the Lanes says, still second in fantasy. Yep, I was looking up the live standings during fantasy, and I made a substitution. I substituted Larson in for Blaney, which ended up being the wrong choice because Blaney ended up finishing in the top 5. Well, I mean, it was the right choice because Larson scored more points, but I should have subbed out Truex instead of Blaney. But at one point, I was running second. In the fantasy standings, so I'm going to get the fantasy, league. I'm going to put it in the live chat. I'm going to pin it like I do every week. But this week I had a good week. I knew that Hendrick was going to be heavily favored, and if NASCAR truly is rigged, that they do something for Hendrick. So I had all 4 Hendrick cars in my lineup. Truex was my 5th guy. But let me see what happened here. I'm just going to copy the link and put it in the chat. But, yeah, I was proud of myself for getting all 4 Hendrick cars, but I was a little disappointed that I subbed out Blaney because I did it pretty early, and I should have really just put him in there. So just get this, going to paste it, going to click. Did that go? It did. I'm going to pin that message, and there we go. All right, let's read the fantasy standings. Let's get through this quick. I see a bunch of comments rolling in. I want to keep up with those. Big Hat LJ is still your leader in the fantasy standings. Then we got Zerkman 95. He is currently 23 points behind. Then we have Dan the Jets fan still in third place, so the top 3 unchanged. It Factor Autosport Incorporated fourth, so really the top 5 have not changed. PC underscore 18 is fifth. I have moved back up to 6th. Let's go. That's what a good week does for you. 7th place is Dr. Zero. 8th place is Hell on Wheels 24. 9th place is Pins underscore 22. 10th place is RT Racing. 11th place, Otterbear 8. 12th place is 45 and 2311 fan. 13th place is Matt Smith 53. 14th is Stevie G. 15th is Shane Van Hamburger Buns. 16th is Micah MLB 15. I did not laugh at Shane Van Hamburger Buns this week. Good job, me. But those are your fantasy standings. Top 5 stays unchanged. I move up to 6th, and then a bunch of other changes down below. So, as for this week's fantasy team, yeah, I'll probably keep Larson in my lineup. He really dominated this race last year. I'm going to probably put Bubba. I'm going to probably put some other Toyotas. Remember, Toyota at Vegas, very fast, another mile and a half. Ty Gibbs, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick all ran in the top 5 for a good chunk of that race. So I'll probably lean heavy Toyota. I'll put Larson in there, and I'll put Blaney in my garage most likely because Blaney at New Texas is just very, very good. So there you go. Back to the comments. The last thing I saw was asking about fantasy. Was the Cup race a snoozer? Gravy123, cool name by the way. Was the Cup race a snoozer because of the cars or the long run to the finish? It was the cars. I don't know if you're a longtime NASCAR fan or not, but ultimately this new car has been great on tracks like Vegas, Charlotte, Kansas, the intermediate tracks, but it has been bad on the short tracks and the road courses because it is a car that is built to race on those styles of racetracks. So it's got big brakes, it's got wide tires. So, you know, braking is you can be pretty late on the brakes, and it's hard to move someone out of the way because of those big brakes, because of the wide tires. So it's the short track racing. We've had a couple of good ones, just nowhere near what we used to get in terms of the short tracks and road courses. It's definitely fallen off in terms of the quality of racing, and it's ultimately the car. The tracks are still the same for the most part. Maybe a couple of them have been repaved or worn out a little bit more, but ultimately I think it's a car thing. So yeah, it sucks, but it is how it is. Texas Motor No, stop hating Texas Motor Speedway, Steven. It hurts me personally. I take it very personally. Not really, but for the sake of argument, I do. The Maroon 24 with the flames was beautiful. Brought me back to the drive-in Hunger car with the flames. I'm so glad there was no Raptor car. Agreed, Craig. I hate that Raptor car. I do. I hate all Raptor cars, except for the one with the flames that they ran at Atlanta. That was the only one I liked. Last year's wasn't terrible, but it took away from Exalta, which is why it made me mad. 2022 was a test car. It was ugly. It had no creativity. And then this year, they made that shade of green the primary color. Someone working at Raptor, if they ever watch my videos or live streams, they are going to hate me because I just constantly crap on that car. The hot dogs are awesome. Chili, mustard, onions mixed together. Oh, that's rough. That's going to be a rough day for me the day I get to Martinsville. I'm going to have to pre-plan that out to where I eat the hot dog on Sunday and I use Monday as a recovery day because I'm not a huge fan of onions. I like grilled onions on a burger or something is good, or with like with fajitas. But just straight up onions, no, thank you. Mustard, I'm not a fan of. Chili, if it's spicy chili, no. If it's just regular chili a thing. So it's going to be a rough day for me if I eat a Martinsville hot dog. So there we go. Steven says the Martinsville hot dog stinks. Steven, just crapping on Texas Motor Speedway, doesn't like the Martinsville hot dogs. Man, it's Bristol, baby. More Texas Motor Speedway hate. Oh, my goodness. You should have seen the 24 live in the sun. It was beautiful. Oh, I hope you got some pictures or some videos of that. I'm sure that's so cool. It was also kind of a reflective red as well, or ruby, whatever you want to call it. So I'm sure that was so cool to see in person. Watching it on TV, it did remind me of Jeff Gordon's kind of 2014 to 2015. I know that was a black with flames, but it looked pretty similar. But just a beautiful race car. Now we're talking about the paint schemes here. I'm really far behind. What did you think about Carson Kvapil finishing 4th in his first race for Junior Motorsports in Xfinity? Yeah, it was really impressive. Back-to-back weeks of the 88 and Xfinity getting a top 6 with the debut driver, but he's young too, Carson Kvapil, so that was a big deal for him to do that. Really impressive run. He ran up in the top 10 most of the day and obviously was top 5 there late in the race. So really impressive debut for sure. We'll see how his career goes in the future. How many wins does Hendrick have at Martinsville? 29 is the answer. Nemechek's brakes were on fire at the end of the race. Well, yeah, he kind of killed the wall there when he blew a tire, so there was a lot of damage. How do you think the Kaulig cars will go at Texas? Cup, they'll be bad, just straight up. I mean, Hendrick has not been great this year. I mean, Kaulig just as a whole has not been great this year on the Cup side of things. I don't even know who's in the 16 this week, but I have low expectations, even if it's Allmendinger in there. Just Kaulig has just fallen off so hard on the Cup Series side, at least. Xfinity, they've fallen off for sure. But Allmendinger still getting some top 10s. Obviously, we see Allmendinger and SVG fighting for the win at COTA. So they've still got winning speed on the Xfinity side. But the Cup side, I have no expectation. Or I have no hope for them, I should say. Who should you pick to win? I'm assuming you're talking about Texas. My early week pick is going to be Bubba Wallace. He ran so good here last year. He lost the race on a late race restart. I'm a big believer in redemption in terms of, races that get blown or whatever. So my early pick is Bubba Wallace. So Toyota, once again, I think is going to be the favorites heading into this week with Reddick, Bubba, Denny, Truex, Ty Gibbs even being in that camp. So I think Toyota will be the favorite, and I think it'll be a Toyota most likely winning. So I'm going to go with Bubba Wallace right now, though. Resin is better than PJ1. PJ1 will last years. Yeah, so they're trying to get that PJ1 completely worn out. Xfinity team says Gravy123. So, yeah, Xfinity expectations for Kaulig this week. I think Allmendinger, he ran good at Las Vegas, which is Vegas and Texas are the same length, but they're different because Texas 1 and 2 is more flat, whereas 3 and 4 are more banked. So, and it's also a dog leg front stretch versus more of a curved front stretch. So, I think Allmendinger will run top 10 realistically. As for SVG, you see the only mile and a half race we have of his on record, he blew an engine or he had a mechanical failure on lap 30. So we don't really have that much to rely on. But in that race, he qualified about 25th and he was up into the 22nd, 23rd range by the time he had his issue. I think a top 20 is possible for SVG, but I would not expect a top 10. A top 10 if things get crazy at the end, if they make a strategy call, or if he just really figures out this track really quick. But I think top 20 is realistic. Top 15 is a good day. Top 10 or better is a fantastic day for him. So, but as for Josh Williams, I don't even know what to expect with Josh Williams. He's had himself a year. What do you think? Who do you think rocks the Interstate Batteries colors this weekend? So far, Bell and Hamlin have rocked these colors. I think it'll be Ty Gibbs. Usually whoever has the Interstate Batteries car the most runs it at Texas. So it used to be Kyle Busch, and now it's Ty Gibbs. So I think Ty Gibbs will be. I'm sure the entry list is being posted as I speak. It usually comes out today. Jimmy Johnson racing this Sunday. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson's back. I get to see him in person once again, and I get to see him in a Toyota. That is going to be one of the most cursed experiences of my NASCAR fandom. I've seen Jeff Gordon in the 88. I've seen, trying to think of some other weird scenarios that I've seen. Jeff Gordon in the 88 might be the weirdest one. Seeing Jimmy Johnson in the 84 would have been a little bit more normal if he was in a Chevy, but it still would have been weird when he was with Petty GMS or Legacy Motor Club. But seeing him in the 84 Toyota, that is going to be, I'm going to get shivers. But I'm posting a video. I'm posting his qualifying lap. So I will post that on Saturday morning. It's going to be weird. Blaney and Truex killed my fantasy points. Yeah, Blaney not getting stage points definitely hurt some people. And then Truex getting stage points early helped, but then finishing 18th or 19th kind of killed everyone. In between the lanes, had Byron in the garage. That probably hurt you a lot. So that's tough for you in between the lanes. I had Josh Berry in the garage to Steven. Yeah, that's probably a good choice. Just because he had a great start to the day, but then late in the race, I mean, they just pit road killed them. So keeping him in the garage ended up being crazy. Martinsville, Denny Hamlin, 2010 Crazy Racing. Martinsville, 2010 Spring, Hamlin won. Did he win the fall too? I can't remember, but I can't remember everything from the race. I just remember Gordon got wrecked in the fall of 2010 by Kurt Busch. Was hoping Truex Jr. would get a better finish after the momentum last week at Richmond. Yeah, I was disappointed by Truex too. I thought he'd be top 5 in that race, top 10 at the worst, but I mean 18th, 19th, that was terrible for Truex. But as I said, Toyota, I expect him to be strong, and I expect Truex to be up front once again this week at Texas with the 1.5 miles. But this is one of the 1.5 miles. This and Atlanta are the 2.5 miles he has never won at. Atlanta's a super speedway now, so do we even count that? So Texas, this is the last one. This is the last normal 1.5 miles on the schedule that Martin Truex Jr. has not won at. Can he get it done this week? I think it would be pretty cool, personally. But he's got a great shot. He really does. So Truex, put him in your roster this week. Didn't see the whole races. Chase Elliott is Steven's pick. For Texas, Chase Elliott's, he's running well right now. He's got back-to-back top 5s. He's led laps in 3 straight races. So he's got a lot of momentum on his side. You know, he's been running really well. But Bristol is a great track for him. Martinsville is a great track for him. Richmond has been kind of hit or miss, so that's just good for them to have a good run. This would not be the week I picked Chase Elliott to win. Chase Elliott's at Old Texas, I think, had top 5s in both of his starts. New Texas is a completely different story. I don't think Chase Elliott has gotten a single top 5 at New Texas. He has been terrible at New Texas. Crashes, spins, just straight up running 18th. New Texas is arguably his worst track. And the irony is, the guy who drove his car before him was terrible at Texas. Jeff Gordon, Texas, I think, was his worst average finish. So there's something about that car, whether it's the Gen 6, whether it's the car of tomorrow or the next gen car, Texas Motor Speedway has just been cursed for whoever drives that car. So Chase Elliott is very much the opposite of my pick. I would counter any bet that he has. If it's a top 10, I'm countering it. Top 5, counter it. Top 3, counter it. Win, definitely counter it. Chase Elliott is not winning this week, unfortunately. This is his worst 1.5 miles by far. It's arguably his worst track. If this was Kansas, I'd say sure, that's a good pick, but Texas, no. Toyota Tundra is built in Houston. Fun fact, yep, they slap it on the back of every single one of them. You see a lot of them around here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Steven says he doesn't think the Martinsville race was boring. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Baron Von Weebs says, leave the wet tires on and the dry on short tracks. Hey, it would create more tire wear, you know. Joey Logano would not have been able to last as long as he did on those left side tires. So let's do it. Let's throw some wet weather tires on the cars at short tracks and let's just see what happens. Let's see. I doubt they start popping. So it would honestly be like Bristol, where you're going to make it 50 laps at most. The tires are just going to fall straight off a cliff, but they're not going to start popping and stuff. It's just going to be heavy wear, heavy cording. Why not? Chase is getting top 5, so he's close to winning, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, I agree with you there. As I said, he's hot. He's got 2 straight top 5s. He's led a bunch of laps as of recently. Texas is not his track, though. if he ends up winning on Sunday and we come back here next Monday night, you guys can yell at me, laugh at me all you want. But I'm telling you right now, if I had to pick a position for Chase Elliott to finish at Texas, 17th is my guess. He's a great driver. He's a champion. He's won at a lot of different racetracks. He's even won at mile and a halfs like Kansas, Charlotte. But Texas is not his track. Go look at the numbers right now. I think he led some laps in that 2022 race where the tires were popping every other lap. But other than that, I cannot think of a genuine speed run from Chase Elliott at Texas. I'm just saying. Chase Elliott fans, prepare yourself. Frank the Tank from Barstool was a Grand Marshal for Xfinity race. Yeah, I saw Denny Hamlin tweet something about him, and I didn't realize he was the Grand Marshal. So good for him, good for Barstool. Craig says, what I really want to happen is SHR switch to Chevy and sell a charter to Junior and Coapple up to Cup next year. That would be a major plot twist. I know Dale Jr. buying a charter has been talked about a lot, but if Junior buys a charter, putting Coapple in that car would be, I'm not saying it'd be crazy, but it would be eye-opening. There would be a lot of people who I think would question it. Not in a, oh, he sucks, why are you doing this? But an, is he ready question, you know? So if Junior buys a charter, I am curious to who he would put in that car. Would he try to steal, you know, one of his ex-drivers, a Josh Berry, a Noah Gragson? But I don't know. If SHR sells it to Junior, I don't know. I don't know who you'd put in that car. Ford's got to get a win soon. Yeah, Duke. Duke Chronic points out Ford on a terrible cold streak. I thought Martinsville would have been a great shot with them. Logano, Blaney, even the RFK guys, but RFK was off. Both of them finished outside the top 10. Logano led a bunch of laps. It was a bit of a strategy call. Blaney ended up top 5, and it was a strategy call, but he finished up there. But Ford, winless so far. Me and Ford have the same amount of wins in 2024 in the Cup Series. What's up with that? Like, I get SHR's been struggling. I get they're lagging a little bit behind of Toyota and Chevy. It has been, let's see here, 3 wins from Byron, 2 from Hamlin, Larson, Suarez, 7 races this year that we've been to. Am I missing a winner? And Bell's won a race. So that's 8 different. We've had 8 races and Ford is yet to win. And I don't think it's happening this week. I think Blaney has a good shot though. Blaney, as I said earlier, has been really good at New Texas. He won the All-Star race in 2022. He led the most laps in the 2020 summer race. God almighty. 2020 summer was the most brutal NASCAR race I've ever been to. I am still mad at whatever idiot decided to put Texas Motor Speedway at the end of July and make the race start time 2:30 in the afternoon. That is the hottest part of the year. It was over 105 degrees. It was torture. It was terrible. I enjoy going to a NASCAR race, but it was terrible. I'm just going to straight up say it. Sitting in that heat was terrible. Yes, I chose to sit through it because I'm a dedicated NASCAR fan. But what NBC person made the decision to do that? I get it was the COVID year. We had to shift a lot of things around, but why was that not a night race? You're going to put Texas in July and in the... It's been 4 years, Nikolai. Get over it. Anyways, Blaney led the most laps in that race. He led the most laps in the first race at New Texas, back when he was with the Wood brothers. So Blaney at New Texas is just really good, but he's their best shot this week. But if he doesn't win it this week, I think Talladega. It's Talladega. You never know. But then after that, it's going to be a while before I think they win. Dover, no, it's not happening there. Kansas, maybe if Blaney shows up with some speed. Darlington, maybe if RFK can show up. We could reach the halfway point without Ford getting a win, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Ford's going to win at some point. Ty Gibbs had the black interstate battery scheme last year. Oh, it was so pretty too. I remember it. I think I got a picture of it on my phone. Denny Hamlin, why did he pit? they were trying something different, which I respect, which I get. But 2 laps to go at Martinsville. You've seen that there hasn't been a lot of tire fall off. You know a lot of guys are going to stay out, and track position is key. I really don't know what they thought was going to happen there. It was a bold strategy. Jeff says 11 didn't win. I'm happy. We got a Denny Hamlin hater in here. I had Hamlin, Truex, Briscoe, Blaney, and Logano as my starters. Well, Hamlin did you good with the stage win. The strategy call at the end ended up costing you some points. Truex cost you some points. Briscoe was top 10, so that was a decent amount of points. Blaney had a good finish. That's some points. And Logano had some stage points, so that's a good points day. But you needed some Hendrick in there ultimately. Chase said he is starting to do stuff different in this car and style of racing. If he does win at Texas, maybe that's why. Yeah, that would be the only explanation I could think of. I'm telling you, man, I just have no belief in him at Texas. If he wins, I would be more shocked if someone like Austin Dillon won at Texas, which has happened before, by the way. I witnessed it. I'd be more shocked if like an Austin Dillon, someone like that won. But if it came down, if you show me 10 drivers and give me no order and I have to pick who's going to win, like if you give me Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and trying to think of an oddball here, Daniel Suarez, or that's 9 actually. So Chase Elliott is the 10th. Chase Elliott would be the last out of those guys I'd pick to win at Texas. He'd probably be a top 5 at he'd be top 3 at like a Dover, maybe top 5 at a Kansas out of who I'd pick to win out of those 10. But at Texas, I have no faith in him. Ford's last win was Blaney at Martinsville. Yeah, it's been 8 races this year, and that was the second to last win race last year. So it's been 10 races since Ford has won. Yikes. Jeff says he likes sliced bread. Yeah, I do too. I had a sandwich for lunch today. I'm assuming you mean Joey Logano, of course. Kyle Busch won the 2020 Texas race. He won the fall race. He won the playoff race. Austin Dillon won the summer race when it was 105 because some NBC person said, yeah, let's go to Texas in the summer heat and start the race at 2:30. Genius. All I pick 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers. I'm very happy, says David. Did NASCAR try to make it interesting with that yellow for John Hunter? No, that was a legit wreck. Are you saying did they like Cars 2 where they press the button and the car blows up? I doubt it. No, I'm going to say no. I mean, I'm sure someone's got a conspiracy theory out there for you, but no, I don't think they rigged John Hunter's car to blow with 2 to go. Just really crappy timing ultimately for the top few drivers, but at the end of the day, Elliott and Larson swapped spots and Denny Hamlin pitted. That was about the only difference, and some cars at the back got torn up. But other than that, didn't make a lot of difference. Yellow came out fast. I mean, he was in the wall pretty fast. He was trying to do the Ross Chastain. Take a look at what he did. But ultimately, no, I don't think there's anything to it. If they were truly trying to rig it there, then I guess they failed miserably. They love to stack them up. Yeah, I mean, they do. There was some debris caution at some point in that race, and they never showed the debris. Usually when there's a debris caution, they show it. Like, they used to have those phantom debris cautions, as Dale Jr. calls them, but they would never show it, or it would be like a paper bag, from Walmart. And it's like, all right, that's not really a debris caution. But when it's these days, like the past 8 years or so, it's been legit. It's been like a tire carcass. It's been a huge piece of sheet metal. It's been a poster from the side of the wall. But this one, they just didn't show it. And I don't know why. Don't think they showed cars in the rear crash. Yeah, Fox did not show it, which is disappointing. Fox, a lot of people like to crap on Fox. I don't think they're that bad, but they do miss some stuff, which is annoying. Like Mike Joy says, oh, there's a crash at the back of the field, and then we never get a replay of it. You have to go find it on Twitter where someone posts the onboard of the guys who crashed. It was like Hendrick, Kaz Gralla, and a couple other guys I can't even remember. But Hendrick did like a 3/4 spin and then got it going again, and then a bunch of other people just kind of smacked the wall and rear-ended each other. Playoff predictions, asks Gravy123. I'm going to take a bold take here. I think William Byron makes the playoffs this year. I think Kyle Larson makes the playoffs this year. All right, let's be real here. Byron, Larson, Hamlin, Bell, Suarez are in. Those are your 5 winners. As for the points or other guys I think who will win, Chase Elliott, he's going to make it. Bowman's probably going to make it. So that's 7. The other Gibbs cars are going to make it. So Truex is going to make it. Ty Gibbs is going to make it. Chastain will make it. Bubba's going to make it. I mean, he's my early pick to win this week. I had him in my preseason playoffs. I think he makes it. He's thrown a lot of speed. Blaney's going to make it, the defending champion. So that's 12 right there. Hendrick, sorry, I don't think he makes it unless he wins a super speedway or a road course, and they've been lacking on the road courses as a whole at Team Penske. SHR, I still don't have making it. Even though they've improved from last year, I still don't have them making it. I think the RFK cars still get in. They've had a rough start to the year, but I think they still get in. Unless there's 14, 15, 16 winners, they should make it. So that's 14 spots. Kyle Busch is actually a tough case right now because RCR has been kind of bad this year. Kyle Busch is like 16th in points. He's on the border. I get that it's only 8 races. They got time to improve. You know, he's probably, let's be realistic, he'll most likely win a race this year, but RCR is kind of concerning me right now. When have they showed genuine pace this year? Las Vegas. That's all I've got. Atlanta's a super speedway. Cool. He ran 3rd there, but it's a super speedway. Other than Vegas, and they had their issues there on pit road, where have they had speed? Someone in the comments, please inform me when RCR and Kyle Busch had top 10 speed. I'm staring at the comments. I'm waiting. Someone tell me. Anyways, I still think Kyle Busch wins a race somehow, some way. So I'm going to put him in there. So that's 15 guys. So we've got, let me go in numerical order here. We got Chastain. We've got Larson, Keselowski, Kyle Busch, but he is on the bubble. I can't believe I'm saying those words. Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, that's 6. Ryan Blaney, that's 7. 7. Busher, I'm going to put in, that's 8. Truex, Bell, Logano, that's 13 or 11. I've lost track. Logano, Bubba, Byron, I think that's 13. Bowman, Ty Gibbs, and Suarez. So that's 16. There's your 16 that I think will make the playoffs as of today. Suarez messed up my playoff bracket early. Yeah, I did not have Suarez in my playoffs. Daniel Suarez proved me wrong. Thank you, Daniel Suarez. I'm proud of you, though, but thank you. Sack on the card? No. Kyle Busch might need a win to get in. Yeah, as I said, when have they showed speed this year, guys? Like, this is... When we get to June if he is still 15th, 16th in points, if they have not shown top 10 speed on like more than 2 races basis, I will genuinely be concerned and start asking questions that need to be asked. We're almost a quarter into the year, though, and it's been a rough one. So I get that people have bad years, but RCR, they had such a strong start to the next gen era. Tyler Reddick won 3 races. They signed Kyle Busch, which was a huge deal. They won 3 races in their first year with Kyle Busch. And I get that they did not have a great second half of 2023. But, I don't know, man. I'm getting a little bit concerned. And now that we're talking about it more, I'm more concerned. It's not a fun subject. I love it. Pit crew, Hendrick Motorsports celebrate 40th anniversary in Martinsville. So cool. Yeah, it was cool to see all those Hendrick employees there. I'm sure it was cool for them, too, to bring their families to Martinsville, Virginia, get to go to a race. And I know, the drivers have talked about it, how this was a very heavily emphasized race for Hendrick Motorsports because of the celebration, because they were bringing so many employees to the track and their families. They really wanted to win this. They didn't care who. They just really wanted one of their 4 drivers to win this, so they were putting a heavy emphasis on it. It paid off. Let's see if there's a hangover at Texas, I guess. Jeff says he likes the taco smash. I'm assuming you're talking about Daniel Suarez. Yeah, it's pretty funny. They had to come up with something for Suarez in results or in response to the watermelon smash and the taco piñata smashes. It's a pretty fun celebration. It's pretty cool. It's somewhat unique. So I like unique, fun celebrations, and that's one of them. But, we've had some iconic celebrations over the years, from the Chastain watermelon smash. The Kyle Busch bow is simple, but gets the point across. But it's pretty hard to top Carl Edwards doing a backflip. So, yeah, I'd say my favorites are the Carl Edwards and the Ross Chastain. So, it's pretty cool. I was at Carl Edwards' last win, but he did not do a backflip because it was raining, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate for me. I mean, good for him. He won the race at Texas, but, Oh, yeah, let's see if the entry list has come out yet. The entry list for Texas, the entry list usually comes out Monday at some point, but sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes it's Wednesday. So let's see here. Give me a second. Here we go. The entry list for Texas Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch is in the truck race. Well, there's my pick for the truck race at Texas. I'm picking Kyle Busch to win that one. Zane Smith's in the truck race. Good for him. As for the Xfinity Series, no Cup drivers. It's going to be Taylor Gray in the 19. The 20 will be Ryan Truex. Corey Heim in the 26. Xfinity, let's see here. Ooh, the 97 does not have a sponsor yet. New paint scheme? Maybe. New SVG paint scheme? I hope so. I thought what they ran at Vegas, that was a really pretty paint scheme. Like the WeatherTech one is good. It's fine. It's simple. It's cool. But that 97, the blue and orange, bring it back. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's anything like significant on the entry list. Why was I looking up the entry list? All right, I'm going to go back to questions, and then I'll try to remember why I was looking at the entry list. Next tough question. What's happening with charters? I've watched your video on this. Do you think Trackhouse gets another 2, or does Junior pick up 1? Well, first they got to get the whole charter deal situated, because the teams are on this side of the field. NASCAR and the tracks are on this side of the field, and it's a war, and they are currently fighting. They're fighting over money. So they got to get that situated by the end of the year, obviously, because that's when the deal is up. But just sooner rather than later, so it doesn't become more of a talking point. It's already a talking point, which is a little concerning. But if it becomes more of a talking point, if we ever get to those on-track protests that were reported to happen, I don't know what's going to happen. But once that gets situated, we will have a clearer understanding to who will want charters, who will sell charters, who will buy charters. But I'm going to go with you there. I do think, let's say the charter price stays about the same, $40 million. Maybe it drops a little bit. Let's call it 35. Maybe it goes up a little bit. Let's call it 45. 35 to 45, somewhere in that range. I think Trackhouse is going to look to buy a charter because they have more butts than they have seats right now in their situation. They're leasing drivers out. SVG leased out to Colleague. Zane Smith leased out to Spire. Connor Zilich is on his way up. He is a Trackhouse driver. They got to do something. They've got to move some things around. They've got to buy something. They've got to sell something. They got to do something. They've got too many butts. They don't have enough seats, you know? So ultimately, I think they buy at least one charter. Right now, it's looking like it would be SVG if I had to guess who goes in that, unless Connor Zilich just suddenly just explodes. I mean, he's a really talented driver, don't get me wrong. But I think they would want to develop him a little bit. He's made a truck start now. I'm sure he's going to be an Xfinity car at some point, but they're going to want to develop him for a year or two before they just throw him straight into the Cup Series. So my guess is SVG goes in that third car because, as I said, Zilich, I just think he needs to learn. He needs to develop a little bit more. And then it comes down to SVG versus Zane Smith. Zane Smith's rookie season is going horribly right now. Some of it his doing, some of it just bad luck, whatever you want to call it. But if you're putting SVG versus Zane Smith right now, I'm going to lean towards SVG. So ultimately, I think Trackhouse will more than likely be one of the teams to buy a charter. 2311 could be a wild card. I know they were in that report, but they're not like Trackhouse where they have all these developmental drivers like just sitting in the waiting for a Cup Series seat to open. Bubba and Tyler Reddick aren't going anywhere. So I honestly just think that I think 2311 could be a team. It's just a matter of who would they put in that car. Would they go, poach someone like they did with Tyler Reddick? Or, Corey Himes looking really good in the Truck Series yet again. Corey Himes ready for a promotion. He's run some part-time Xfinity too, and he's looked very competitive in that. When's he going to be ready to jump up to the Cup Series? And would it be Trackhouse potentially giving him, or not Trackhouse, 2311 giving him that seat? So, and also you got to, let's just say it. Trackhouse and 2311 have a couple of people on the ownership side that have themselves a bit of money. Pitbull and Michael Jordan are sitting on a good bit of cash if they want to burn some. I get that, business is difficult. You don't want to just burn money like it's nothing. Don't go spending your $40 million on the slot machines in Las Vegas. But, a third charter, I think that would be a good investment for both of those teams trying to make their way in NASCAR. But, Dale Jr. buying a charter and going to Cup, I think that's the biggest wild card. But I think right now my two favorites, Trackhouse is the number one favorite to buy a charter, in my opinion. 2311 would be second. Third would be I think it's really just those two. I know Legacy Motor Club was in that report, but I don't know what they would do with a third charter right now if you're Legacy. Run the 84 full-time and just rotate drivers? I mean, what are you going to do with that? But as for selling charters, SHR absolutely the favorite. Colleague maybe. Spire just picked up a couple. Would they potentially loan one out? I don't know. Can't go wrong with a Kyle Busch bow. Yeah, for sure. Great celebration. You pick William Byron to win the championship this year. Pretty good. Definitely a good pick, but this format, you never know what could happen. I got Kyle Busch winning the truck race any day of the week. Yeah, I mean, the instant I saw him on that entry list, I was like, well, Kyle Busch. I'm picking him to win the truck race. Who is next driving to retirement? Pretty good. Pretty B. Denny Hamlin, probably Truex. Yeah, Truex is most likely going to be the next guy to retire, in my opinion. If NASCAR could add 2 charters and give half to the teams already in Cup, be like the expansion teams in other sports. Yeah, we got the field was 43, and then it got reduced to 40. Then we got the charter deal in place in 2016 or whatever, 2015 maybe. And we've kept the field at 40, and I feel like we can expand it. I get that every week we don't get 38, 39 cars. That's why I was looking at the entry list. The entry list this week, I know we got Jimmy Johnson and Austin Hill. So, yeah, we got 38 Cup cars this week. Ty Dillon is racing in the 16. I kind of forgot about that. But ultimately, 43, that would be tough because we would not reach 43 every week, and we probably wouldn't even get 40 every week. But if we could expand the charters, add a couple more, I'm pretty confident Trackhouse would go for one. So there's no need for another team to sell a charter and shut down their team. You know, Spire could keep their 3 cars. Stuart Haas, if they wanted, could keep their 4 cars. And, you know, everyone's happy. It's not just a shift of charter. It's not, you know, you're not keeping the same number. You're adding on a team. Like you said with the expansion team like Vegas, the Golden Knights, the Seattle Kraken, such a weird name. It would be like that. So in a sense, I would hope that they would do something like that, you know, add 2 or 3 more so we have 38, 39 cars locked in every single week. But I don't know what they'll do. I have no idea. There's been no reports the last couple of weeks on it, which is, I don't know if that's scary, but let's look at sponsors this week. I'm going to go to the comments and then I'll read the sponsors for this week. Let's see. That 11 will bug us forever. I don't know what that means. 40 million to split 38 ways is million each team. That's one way to look at it, I guess. I look for Hamlin to drive for himself soon as in the contract talks with JGR. He even made the comment, if Gibbs don't keep him, what will it hurt? He will drive for himself. Yeah, I read that report that he would consider driving for himself if he was in the same situation he is right now, which is like, you know, at Joe Gibbs Racing, he's a favorite to win every week. He's going to be up there competing for the win at every track where he should be at the very least. He wants 2311 to get to that point before he ultimately does that, if he does that. But I don't know. That's a topic I just don't want. Buy one, then put a bad word driver in it. That would be funny. You know what? That's what you need to do. Next time the lottery gets over like $1 billion, win the lottery, spend the quarter of it you get to keep, which is like $250 million after taxes and after fees and whatnot. And you spend it on buying a charter and funding a Cup team, and you just put the worst driver you can think of in there. Like for me, I'd put myself in the car because it would be really funny at how bad I would do. It'd be really funny. It'd be really embarrassing. I'd be the meme of NASCAR. But hey, whatever gets eyeballs on you, I guess. I can't understand why Colleague would hold on to a charter. They could easily do what they are with open entries, literally making numbers. I think they're like, look, they have fallen off so much. It's very disappointing. It's very, very disappointing. I just think they should sell one of them and have one car be the permanent car. And that's where you rotate the drivers. Allmendinger, you know, if SVG doesn't have a full-time ride, Josh Williams, whoever you want to put in that car, do what you want. Second car can be your open car that you show up to the super speedways and road courses with. I don't care. But Colleague, they've been disappointing the past 2 years. Other than that Roval win last year. Unspoken topic is that Roger Penske, Jack Roush, Richard Childress, and Rick Hendrick are all in the winter years of their lives. There needs to be new owners in the Cup Series. Yeah, I mean, that's for sure a topic. I'm sure that may be coming up in these meetings, if I had to guess. Rick Hendrick, he has a successor, I think. I think Jeff Gordon, Jeff Andrews will run Hendrick Motorsports once Rick Hendrick steps away. But Penske, I have no idea what their situation is. Tim Cindric, Austin Cindric's dad, would he run Penske? RCR, I think Austin Dillon is perfectly suited for that. Austin Dillon may not have the driving talent to win championships in the Cup Series, but Austin Dillon was a big part of that recruiting pitch, the big part of getting Kyle Busch over there. And I think, like a lot of others think, I think Austin Dillon, he is suited to help run RCR one day. So Austin Dillon, as much crap as we give him for not running great as a driver, one of these days he's going to be a great team owner. So I think they've got it set up. Jack Roush now has Brad Keselowski on the owner's side of things. As for the Roush part of it and the RFK, I don't know what would happen with his parts. But Brad Keselowski, he's a new owner in the sport. We've got new ownership with Justin Marks, 2311. Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan. So we've got some. It's a little bit split right now, but as you said, that conversation does need to be had. What happens when Childress, Penske, Roush, Hendrick all eventually step away? Jimmy Johnson will win Texas this week. Has Jimmy Johnson finished a race in the 84 car? I will... Okay, what will I do? I have to come up with something crazy because this is how unrealistic I think that statement is. If Jimmy Johnson wins at Texas Motor Speedway, I will do a 24-hour live stream and I will not sleep for 1 minute, 1 second. I will do a 24-hour straight live stream if Jimmy Johnson wins this weekend. I'm that confident that he is not going to win. It's just not happening. I'm sorry, but it's not happening. Yeah, so Craig agrees with me there. Brad Keselowski will take Roush. Austin Dillon will run RCR. Jeff Gordon will run HMS. So, yeah. It's, once again, it's a topic that I'm sure some don't want to have because, if they don't step down, the only other way that they're not owning the team is if they die, which is kind of a dark topic, but it's how things go on Earth. So it's a topic that I'm sure some of them don't want to talk about, but I know that they've got their plans in case something does happen to them, in case they don't own the team anymore. They've got their contingency plan. So, as I said, Jeff Gordon will be a part of Hendrick Motorsports, and he's always been a part of Hendrick Motorsports. He's co-owned that 48 car since its existence. But it's a conversation that has to be had, as you said. So, there we go. As for the entry list, let's look at the sponsors, and then after we look at the sponsors, I'll read a couple more comments, and then that will be the end of this live stream. Worldwide Express for the 1, Discount Tire for the 2, Bass Pro Shops for the 3. Never forget when Austin Dillon won the Bass Pro Shops 3 at Texas. Josh Berry has yet to name a sponsor. Do I really have to tell you what Kyle Larson's sponsor is going to be? Build Submarines for the 6. Schluter Systems for the 7. Zone for 8. Oh man, I got to look at that car in person. That's going to be bright. Hooters for the 9. Overstock for the 10. Denny Hamlin's going to be running Yahoo. That'll be hard to miss. Purple. There we go. Menards for the 12. Rush Truck Centers for the 14. 15 will be running N29 Capital Partners. Ty Dillon will be Sea Best Seafood. Never heard of them, but I do like seafood. Fifth Third Bank for Prosper, Texas' own Chris Busher. Bass Pro for the 19. Ream for the 20. The 21 will be running Freightliner. Triple X Insurance for the 22. I don't have to see the Pennzoil in person. Let's go. Come on. Columbia for the 23. 24 will be Liberty University. 31 will be South Point Hotel and Casino. It's kind of funny because gambling's not legal here. 41 will be running United Rentals. 42, or I'm sorry, that's the 33. The 33 will be running United Rentals. The 34 will be running Loves. The 38 will be running Long John Silvers. Todd with Long John Silvers. That'll be fun to watch. 41 will be running Haas Tooling. 42 will be running Romco Equipment. 43 will be running Dollar Tree. 45 will be running The Beast Unleashed. 47 will be Kroger something else. 48, do I even have to say? It's Ally. 54 will be Interstate Batteries. We had talked about this early in the video, or in the live stream, and I had said I think the 54 will be Interstate Batteries. I was right. 71 will be Ambetter Health, as always. 77 will be Premier Security. 84 will be Advent Health. Still going to be weird. And the 99 will be Kubota. So those are your sponsors. Read these last couple comments. The eclipse was awesome. I agree. It was cool. It was really freaky, though, when it got dark at 1:45 in the afternoon. I know that they said it was going to happen and whatnot. It still freaked me out. But it was cool. Thank you guys for watching this live stream. I had a good time, as always. The Monday after is always a fun live stream. Fun thing to do. I'm glad we made it somewhat of a tradition here in 2024 and hopefully onward. But thanks for watching these videos. Thanks for watching this live stream. I appreciate the support. I really do. So keep on supporting the channel. I'm very appreciative for each and every one of you. And I'm going to be at the track this weekend, so get ready for some at-track action. It's fun. It always is. It's my home track, Texas Motor Speedway. Don't hate on it, please.